Hey guys, I'm Dee Harris. Welcome to another episode of Hanging Out with Dee. And I have a very interesting guest with me today, Dave Broder. Hey, welcome.
Hello, nice to be here.
Thanks for coming.
You look lovely today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You always do.
So we're really interested in your story. You're a musician.
Yes.
And also a financial advisor.
Yeah, so the financial advisor is how I make my money. The music is how I stay sane.
Oh, I love that. That's like a quotable, tweetable
Yeah.
tweet right there. Everybody should have something that keeps us sane. I
Absolutely.
Like that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's go back to your childhood. You grew up in Brooklyn.
Well, yeah, I was born in Brooklyn, New York, and at a very young age moved to central New Jersey. There was sort of a diaspora of people from Queens and Brooklyn to central New Jersey at the time, because it was being built up. Levitt, which was a big developer that had actually created Levittown, Long Island, had built up a huge development. I mean, probably 10 or 15,000 homes in central New Jersey. Mm-hmm. So everybody, 90% of the people that I grew up with came from Brooklyn or Queens, and we were all the same age. All these families with children within 1 or 2 years. So there were literally hundreds of children in these neighborhoods to play with. Oh, Halloween was a nightmare. If you didn't have 50 pounds of candy by your door, I mean,
you were gonna get stoned. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, because there was literally
many children.
A gang of 20 or 30 kids would come to your house, followed by another gang of 20 or 30 kids. So there was a lot of children. So it was a great place to grow up. My memories of Central Jersey were fun.
Yes, tell me what's your favorite childhood memory?
Well, you've heard of Hot Wheels, right?
What are Hot Wheels?
Hot Wheels, the little metal cars.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was one of the original test kids for Hot Wheels in the late 1960s. Mattel had a headquarters nearby in, I forgot what town it was, but it was also around central New Jersey in the New Brunswick area. And somehow my mom signed me up.
Yeah.
And we would go there once a week after school in the evening to test toys. And so everybody can thank me for the fact that there's no such thing, there's no ring around the nosy. But the guy who was
That's funny.
the in charge of the testing said, okay, here's, we're going to call these Hot Wheels, and they're going to be like, AFX cars, but they don't take electricity, they just go on the track. So he gave us the tracks, just put them out on the floor, see what you do with them, and then they would watch you behind a mirror.
Yeah.
So the world can thank me for Hot Wheels.
Thank you, Dave.
And I was compensated by Mattel in Hot Wheels. Actually,
lots of toys.
Which I don't know what landfill they're in now,
my
but
gosh.
I wish I had them, because some of them are actually worth several $100s.
Yeah, by now.
Yeah, by now. So,
antiques.
but when you're a kid and you have those things, you tend to throw them.
That would be an amazing memory.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And then you said you moved to Connecticut as a teenager.
Yeah, my father was always in the menswear business. And he got laid off, and it was it was the late 70s, so it was, the Carter years, and he got a job as the senior menswear buyer for Caldor. And so for a year or so, he would commute from central New Jersey up to Norwalk, Connecticut.
Oh my goodness.
And when that got too old, we moved to Trumbull, Connecticut. I think I was about 14 at the time. My brother was probably 9.
Yeah.
So.
And then you have this really interesting quote. You said, old Connecticut expression, a good neighbor is one who
keeps to himself.
Keeps to himself.
And
is that what they really said?
They certainly did. We lived next door to a neighbor, a couple of neighbors, for 10 years.
Never knew.
Before we even saw them. And then one day I saw this woman come out, put the garbage by the street, and she said, "Oh, you must be the new neighbors."
Oh my God!
After 10 years. We've been here for 10 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was
that is true.
Funny. It was a real culture shock, because where I grew up in New Jersey, the houses, we were only on quarter acres, so the houses were much closer. There were sidewalks, so you could ride your bike or roller skate on the sidewalks.
Yeah.
There were street lights all over the place.
Yeah.
And there were always children. Coming to Connecticut, there were no sidewalks. The properties were an acre or more, and there was nobody around.
Yeah.
The other thing that struck me interesting too is I grew up in central New Jersey, and it was very, very mixed. It was like 50% black and 50% white, all middle class. But there was always as many African Americans in my class as there were whites. But moving to Trumbull, I think there was like 5 black kids in the whole school, which struck me as kind of
odd.
Odd, yeah. It was, especially since it seemed like the Merritt Parkway was kind of like a dividing line
between
south of the Merritt Parkway was like Bridgeport and those areas, and north of the Merritt Parkway was Trumbull, and so there was kind of a dividing line that nobody seemed to cross, which was unusual for me. It took me quite a while to get used to it.
Yeah, yeah. Being a Jamaican, I have many stories myself.
Yeah, well, I'm sure.
I remember one story that was interesting is like trying to help the elderly. Because in Jamaica, that's like a big deal. Like you see someone who could be your dad, your mom, or your grandmother, etc. You go, but you don't even ask, do you need help?
You just walk them across the street.
You do. Yeah. You don't, and to ask if they need help is to say, I really don't want to do it, but all right, do you need help? You just do it. If something needs to be done, you go do it. And of course, I saw this old lady struggling. She had like a hump. She could hardly walk. And I'm like trying to help her, and she freaked out.
She thought you were going to mug her.
Clearly. That's what I found out like 2 years later when I asked a friend. I'm like, why wouldn't she accept help? They're like, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
So I get that, the culture shock and the difference. So you said your mom was a feminist?
Yeah, my mom was, or still is, always, equal rights amendment feminist, which I agree with. If a woman is doing the same job as a man and has the same education as a man, why should she be paid less?
Agreed.
It doesn't make sense logically, because why should a woman make less than a man just because she's a woman? But by the same token, my mother believes a man should pull a chair out for a woman. A man should open a door for a woman.
Yeah.
Not because a woman is necessarily weaker or dumber or whatever. It's just polite.
Yeah.
It's just being polite. So I open doors for little old ladies and little old men, very good-looking young women, especially.
This would be a good time to talk about your wife, wouldn't it?
So I've always taught, and I teach my boys also to be very respectful of women, never to refer to. I hate when I go on Facebook and women put their pictures on Facebook just because they want the reaction. They just want people to write back, "Oh, you're so beautiful."
Yeah.
But you see some guys like, "Oh, you're so hot," and to me, I don't like referring to a woman term hot, because the term hot comes from the phrase "hot to trot," which means promiscuous. So I've told my boys, if you see a girl you like at school, don't forget intelligent, but she's attractive, or she's pretty, or she's beautiful, or whatever.
To be respectful.
To be respectful, and to always be nice to all the girls. All the girls.
Yes.
Because you never know which one you want to take to the prom.
You never know, because they do grow up, don't they?
The goofy little 10-year-old with the braces and everything may grow up to be Miss America.
You never know, and
you
you'll
never
regret
know.
it. Okay, guys, it's time for Dee's life questions. All right. So you said your parents are Jews.
Yes.
Which would make you a Jew?
Well, Judaism is a religion. It's like your parents were black.
Yeah.
So you're black.
Yeah.
Because it's in the genes.
Yeah.
You can't get away from that.
No.
Judaism it's a religion. So if you don't follow the religion, then are you really a member of that religion?
Okay, so when you say your parents are Jewish, you mean not born in Jerusalem or of Israeli descent. You mean in terms of their religion?
Of their faith.
Understood.
Although the interesting thing about being Jewish is that if you get rid of God and you get rid of the religion, you get rid of all that, there's still a culture, and I think that's why Jews are different than Christians, because in Christianity you need Jesus. Jesus is the center point of Christianity. Correct. In Judaism, the people are the center point, the tribe, if you will.
Got it.
So if you get rid of God,
the rules and the ordinances are still there.
Yeah, you still have the culture.
So what's a mitzvah?
A mitzvah is, in layman's terms, it's a good deed, but it's a good deed done for no other purpose than doing the right thing. You don't do it because it gets you in heaven. You don't do it because you're going to get a reward. You don't do it because people will think better of you. It's just the right thing to do.
So give me an example of a mitzvah.
Well, helping a little old lady who's having trouble walking across the street. You just do it because it's the right thing to do.
Correct.
You know, somebody drops their wallet, handing it back to them, you know, without rummaging through it and seeing if there's, you know, any loose change or anything like that.
Got it.
So it's the little things that you can do every single day that just can potentially make the world a better place.
Without expecting anything in return.
It's like the pay it forward concept. I'm just going to do this because it's the right thing to do.
Got it. Got it. I love that. So we can all practice mitzvah, right?
Yeah, I'm sure people do it every single day.
Yeah, I love that. So what do you know for sure, David Broder?
What do I know for sure? That's a dangerous question.
Something that's fit for airplane.
Yes. I would say the one thing that I know for sure is that everybody has the ability to be creative.
Go deeper.
Well, even the guy who creates, the guy who invents something.
Yeah.
You know, that comes out of creativity. Everybody has the ability to be creative. You can be artistically creative. You can be practically creative. You can be both. But I think anybody who does not use their brain to try and solve problems, to be creative and try and solve a problem, is somebody who's just kind of bumbling along, because the human mind is really quite a fascinating thing.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And everybody has the ability to create.
I think we were born to create.
Yeah. Well, you know, we wouldn't be in this TV studio if it wasn't for creativity.
Absolutely. And it goes further, even in the words that we say about ourselves. You know, they talk about the power of I am. What do you say after the words I am? Right. You know, I am smart, I'm beautiful, or do you say I'm stupid, I'm good for nothing? So even our words create. What motivates you?
Well, there's different, there are different things that motivate me. I mean, I'm motivated by the acquisition of wealth. I'm motivated by the anticipated pleasures of consumption.
Why is that?
I just like stuff, you know. A lot of people don't understand. I mean, I drove here today. I'm driving right now, because my other cars are in the shop, I'm driving right now a 1964 Triumph Spitfire. You know, it's not practical, it's noisy, it tends to break down a lot, but I love it.
You love it.
I love it.
And it is a beautiful car.
Yeah, it's cute. But most of all, I'm motivated by the ability to create. So I'm a musician, I'm an author. I think the creative side of me, even though I have a business, and my business is helping people with their financial problems, I'm not complete without the other part. I probably am, with people who know me, I'm probably identified as much as a musician and author as I am a financial.
All right, guys, guess what? It's time for I Don't Like That, Mom. All right, Dave, what gets on your last nerve?
Well, I had a list, but it was too big to fit in the car. So if I were to, I mean, I could name 100 things. You
said you didn't like the way children are raised today.
Yeah, I don't like the way children are raised today. I mean, I have memories of being independent of, and I know, there's this perception that it's a dangerous world. There's all these crazy people out there. I think the crazy people were always there. We just know more about them now because of the internet.
Absolutely.
When I was a child, if a kid went disappearing in California, you never heard about it. It was local news. Now it's on the internet, and then everybody freaks out. So we have a whole generation of kids now that just don't have that independence. I mean, when I was a kid, I lived on my bicycle. During the summer, my mother would wake me up and throw my behind out of the house and say, "Don't come back till dinner." What happened in between, she had no idea. We hung out in woods. We were in secluded places. We rode our bicycles all, in the street and all over the place. Nowadays, I mean, my kids, for instance, I don't think they've ridden their bicycles more than like around the block.
Yeah.
And my oldest is 15. So I think we've done.
But that awareness keeps us.
I think it's made us paranoid.
It makes us paranoid, but it also makes us responsible. You know what I mean? If you let your kid ride down the road and then something happens to them, I mean, everybody's going to be like,
well, that's because
what were you thinking, Mom?
Well, but it wasn't always that way.
I know.
Again, years ago, an accident was an accident.
Yeah.
It was nobody's fault.
Now
and there were very few of them. I drank out of the hose. I never wore a bicycle helmet. You know, and I managed to survive.
You did manage to survive.
And a lot of other kids did too. So I think we're too coddling with our children. We're too coddling with our children.
All right, guys, it's time for Say What? Okay, guys, so you know what Say What is all about. It's the segment of the program where we allow our guests who are masters in a particular area to share their expertise, their body of work, what they've found out and discovered over a number of years. So we're going to talk about the power of music and artistry. All right, first graphic, Dylan. Why am I an artist?
I don't think everybody is an artist. I think everybody can be creative, but I don't think everybody is an artist. I think what makes a person an artist is to use music or the written word or painting as a means of communication with the world. Mm-hmm. It's a way to say, here I am, mm-hmm. here's how I feel, or here's what I think, mm-hmm. and I want to bring you into this, and I want a reaction from you.
Agreed.
And I want to express what I am to the world.
Absolutely, an opinion on who you are to the world.
Right, and it's sort of it's kind of it's sort of like exhibitionism, except you keep your clothes on.
Yes, thankfully.
But I think that's where it stems from. I think was it Pete Townsend who said that every musician is an exhibitionist. Mm-hmm. It's you want the attention.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what makes you an artist is that you're intellectually honest. You're bringing something of value to the world, and you're using your art as a form of communication.
Girl, awesome. Next slide. How can art be preserved and expanded?
There are many ways, but I think the schools. Yeah. Unfortunately, if you go to a lot of public schools, art, music is kind of taking a back seat to mm-hmm. academics. Now, that was a response to the fact that supposedly American students weren't scoring as well against children in Korea or something like that. But I've seen, even the study of literature is. You should see what's on the summer reading lists even for high school. I mean, it's schlock. Mm-hmm. So I think the schools need to step up and say, 50 Shades of Grey is not art. But maybe we should have our kids reading Crime and Punishment or something that says something wider about the world that they live in. Mm-hmm. And then I think kids should be encouraged to go to museums. The Museum of Art in New York is huge. It's not just paintings. They have an armory there with knights and shining armor, and so
expand. Exposing them.
Yeah, I think parents and the schools need to expose children to art and different art forms. Now, my youngest son goes to the Betsy Ross Arts Magnet School, and there you have the regular, reading, writing, arithmetic. But there's also a focus on arts.
All right, great. Next graphic. What inspires you creatively?
The desire to communicate. I'm a thinking person. Don't laugh. But I'm a thinking person. I'm a bit of an intellectual, and so I have a lot of yelling going on in my head. There's a lot of arguing going on in here. And so I like putting it down on paper. So I've written a novel that I'm trying to get published now. And I've been a musician since I was a kid. And you know, I've tended to shy away from just kind of writing a pop song, just, you know, I love you, you love me, just to write a song that actually has some meaning as a way to communicate. So it's art and communication to me is.
And it's medicine for your spirit as well.
It's medicine for my spirit, keeps me sane.
Yeah. Next slide. Why is art important?
Art is important because it's, I think, the most honest way that people can communicate. You have journalists, you have politicians, but everything is kind of tainted. But if an artist is truly honest, then what you get in the song or in the book or on the canvas or whatever their medium is, you get the honesty that is who they are, what they mean, what they're trying to say. Even if it's good, bad, or indifferent.
It's coming through.
It's coming through, but it's coming through honestly.
Yeah.
And that's why I think art is important.
Next slide. Technology and art.
Technology and art is, I think it's the one thing, technology is the one thing that has allowed the artist to reach more people.
Absolutely. A
without,
greater audience.
without commercial backing, you know. So there's a lot, if you go on the internet now, now they may not all become, you know, Pink Floyd or the Beatles, but there's a lot of musicians out there who now, simply because they can set up for relatively little money a recording studio in their homes or in their garages, put together a band, create music,
absolutely,
put it together, and you know, put it on the internet. And if they're lucky and the word of mouth gets, then you know, then they go to the next step. It's the same thing with authorship. You don't need to wait for, you know, Random House to pick you, or a big agency. You can self-publish.
You
can self-publish.
Absolutely.
And then again, it's up to your marketing abilities and your blogging or whatever else goes on the internet to take it to the next level.
All right, next slide. How is art positive, even if the message is negative?
Because a message is being sent. So, for instance, you know, when we first met, and at the recommendation of my friend Bob Grady.
Shout out to Bob.
Rob, yeah. So we met and we talked, and he said, you know, you Dave, you are an interesting guy, but you're a little dark.
Yes.
For the show.
Yes.
You know, I told you I follow a philosophy or a genre of literary philosophy that falls into the romantic or existential nihilist, which basically is very pessimistic.
Correct.
And your challenge to me was, if I could write a happy song,
yes,
I could come on the show. So that's what I did. I wrote a happy song.
I'm so excited to hear it. All right, guys. So now we're going to see a really cool video. For those of you who are in the U.S., you will know that the Pope came by recently, and he was talking about being kind to our fellow neighbors and all that good stuff. Well, here's a video that will give us hope in humanity. Check it out.
saw a very old man. He was eating his own human waste for hunger. I thought, what is the purpose of my life? What am I going to do? In a star hotel, I feed all my guests, but where in my hometown, there are people who are living even without food. I quit my job and I started feeding all these people from 2002. We fed the homeless, mentally ill destitutes, and the old people who have been left uncared of the society. I cut their hair, I give them a shave, I give them bath. What is the ultimate purpose of life is to give. Start giving. See the joy of giving.
Wow, as Dave said, those were examples of mitzvahs and a half. We can certainly be kind to our neighbors and our friends. You know where to find us on Facebook? And now Dave is gonna go into his song that he wrote, and his song is called Happy.
Pass me by, making pleasantries. I could swear the sunlight opened up the sky for me, just so I could see the blue imported from the sea. And the world sings this happy song. I felt like I had to sing along. Oh, what a golden day, shining like a daffodil. Oh, what a precious Sunday morn. Oh, what a diamond sky, bouncing off the windowsill. The day's just starting to take form. The day's just starting.